we've got a group of us globally that work and connect up around really trying to thinking forward around what is going to change around cities, what is going to change around that agenda. And we've worked really closely with MIT over that journey. And we did, if I think back to, it was probably about, I reckon it was 2.5 years ago now, we bought MIT over here from Boston, and we had a number of execs across the industry, but also disruptors, and we brought them together into our innovation centre to really say, what is real estate going to look like in 2030? And so that's what's really driven us, is this forward-looking perspective on real estate. It's fascinating. I went back and looked at all of the stuff that came out of that not long ago, and you're like, tick, tick, tick. Yeah, it's just sped up.
It has. And, at Lendlease, we're focused on this as well. Our digital CEO, Bill Rue, the whole idea around moving towards, autonomous buildings, digital twin development, file to factory construction is all part of this move towards a digitized world, a digitized economy, but also more one that's driven by sustainability.
Completely. And, the reality is on that digital side, as we know, and this is kind of, there are times when I feel like I'm hitting my head against a brick wall sometimes with the real estate and construction sector. I'm not going to lie. I love it deeply, but it can be immensely frustrating at points. And the sector has been slow to digitize. And we get it. We understand why. It is complex. The complexity of the ecosystems, the challenge around scalability with the differentiation you get across the assets, it is really, really complex. So you understand why they've been slow, but also the sector at times, let's face it, it's probably been a bit fat and happy, and you've been able to make money through keeping on doing same old, same old. But I think that moment of truth really has dawned in that last, 24 months. And if we didn't know it, we certainly did when COVID came, the importance of technology as the enabler. And the piece around, as you say, the climate change bit, like that is what is going to save us on that agenda. And so we need all those digital technologies working for us in the built environment if we're going to be able to get there and deliver on those net zero commitments.
And I think there's a few other things, at least at our firm, that's driving us, which is around safety, for example, in construction. That has always been a number one priority here. And right the way from our chief executive down, that's always been a focus. And then the sustainability angle for us is not a new thing for Lendlease. Like this precinct, Barangaroo, was the first carbon neutral precinct. It was a thing that we pushed and our investors wanted us to push hard. And so now I think digital is the next, I suppose, mountain to climb in terms of getting there. And partially because I think the whole creating better cities, creating better places, really involves better integration of bits of cities, right?
Yes.
So, you see that through transportation linkages and the recent Sydney Metro contract with integrated stations, for example, something that in Asia is pretty common.
Yeah.
In Australia, relatively new, right? Surprisingly, right? Or precincts around stations. Like what do you locate around a precinct? These sorts of questions are now, I think, becoming more commonplace in our property market. And infrastructure market that perhaps have been around overseas for a while. But I think the value we can bring to it is that focus on sustainability, is that focus on digital that perhaps hasn't come in some of the other markets we work in.